guys, this is Afik and today I would like to show you how to create an Electron application. We are going to use ReactJS for the client side, and we are going to create a new server-side Laravel application to serve as our API. Now our goal is to have like a DMG file that we can double click on and see our app and drag it into the user application folder. And the application is going to be a simple to-do list. You can add new to-dos and you can delete them. You can mark them as completed, and that's about it. So let's go ahead and get started. Now first what we're going to do is create a new Laravel application. Let's just do Laravel new to-dos API. Now this one is going to be fairly simple because we just need this Laravel as an API. We are going to do simple routes for create, delete, update one is completed, and I think that's about it. All the rest is going to be ReactJS and Electron. So let's just set it into our project. And now what we need to do is first let's go ahead and create a new table for to-dos. So PHP artisan make migration. I'm going to call this create to-dos table, and it's going to create a new table called to-dos. Create. Next, let's go ahead and create a new model for the to-dos. So PHP artisan make model to-do. Next, let's create a controller for to-dos. So PHP artisan make controller to-dos controller. Okay, let's open it up in Visual Studio Code. Now let's go into our to-do model. Let's make sure we have a protected guarded equals an empty array. This will let us save all our values into the database without blocking us. Next, let's go into the to-dos controller and create all the functions we need. First one will be index. So let's call it index, and this will just fetch all our to-dos. So to-dos equal to-do all, and I will return a response as JSON with to-dos. Awesome. Let's just make sure we're importing the app to-do model. Next, let's create a function for storing a new to-do. So function store, it will get a request object, and all we need to do is go ahead and write to-do create. We are going to pass in the content, and the content is going to come from the request content, and completed we're going to set it to false as a default. And let's do return response JSON. Next, let's create a function for delete. So function, let's call this one delete, and we'll pass in the request the to-do ID that we would like to delete. So now we can search for to-do where ID is the request ID and get the first one, and if not null this to-do, we can just go ahead and delete it. So to-do delete. Let's return an OK response anyway. Okay, now let's create the last one for complete. the function complete, and this one is going to get the request as well, and it is going to look for a to-do by ID. And if we do find this to-do, I would like to update its completed value. So completed equals not to-do completed. So this will allow us to toggle between the completed value. And now let's do to-do save. And I believe that's it. Let's go into our route/API file. I will delete everything from here and we'll add a route get for to-dos, and this one is going to go to to-dos controller at index. Another one for post into to-dos. This is going to go to store. To-do/delete will go to delete. And the final one for complete, this one is going to go to complete. Now I would like to test everything with Postman. Let's try to make a request to our API to make sure that it works. So https todos api.dev/api/todos, and let's see, to-dos controller does not exist. To-dos controller. To-dos controller. It does not exist. So to-dos controller. Make sure the class name is the same, and let's try it out now. Voila, now it works. Now we get all of them. Okay, let's try to test the other route. So post into API/todos with a body of content should create a new to-do for us. So content, I don't care about the session. So content by milk. Let's give it a nice JSON look and send. And we do create a new one. So let's try to delete the ID 12. So to-dos/delete ID 12, send, and we get 200 response. Last one, let's try to get everything again, and ID 1 is completed true, and let's try to update this one to completed false. Post to-dos/complete, and the body is going to be 1. Let's try to get all of them again, and completed false. Great. Our API works. Now we need to add a middleware called cores, and this one is for basically allowing other origins other than ourselves to call our API. Now we can only make calls to the API through this todos api.dev domain. I would like to make calls from another localhost domain that I'm going to use for the Electron development. So I need to look for, well, I already have it in here. So this one, this is a course middleware for Laravel. I'll just go ahead and grab this composer require command and install it. Okay. Now once it's done, we can go ahead and take this path and add it to our, let's see, middleware kernel, and I'll just add it somewhere in here. I think that will do. Let's see if it's done. Yeah, it's over. Make sure it still works. Send. We get all of them. Now we can go ahead and move to Electron. Okay, this is it for this episode. And the next one, we're going to set up React and Electron. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.